just in, the World Health Organization is releasing new numbers.
Health Organization would typically expect over the course of 2 years during the pandemic.
These are not numbers for the sake of numbers.
Do you envision bringing back an indoor mask mandate in New York City?
The fifth known pandemic since the 1980 flu pandemic was caused by the unique human coronavirus disease of 2019 COVID-19. Nearly 2 years after COVID-19 was initially discovered, there has been more than 200 million confirmed cases and more than 4.6 million fatalities as of September 2021. Here, we examine the development of COVID-19 in detail. This global pandemic was originally discovered in Wuhan, China in 2019. The main hypothesis is that the virus originated from bats, jumped to another animal, then to humans. The World Health Organization (WHO) was alerted about cases of pneumonia in Wuhan, China on December 31, 2019, and this information led to the first confirmed cases of COVID-19. The main focus is on Huanan seafood market, and in Wuhan, many of the first cases is either vendors who work at the market or people who have shopped there. A few weeks later, on January 30, 2020, the WHO designated the fast-expanding COVID-19 epidemic a public health emergency of international concern. However, the novel coronavirus didn't receive its official designation until the 11th of February of the following month, COVID-19. The U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention confirmed the death of the nation's first COVID-19 victim 9 days later. The WHO proclaimed COVID-19 to be a pandemic on March 11. Nearly overnight, COVID-19 went from being a serious issue that seemed to be exclusive to China to becoming a global health disaster. Over the history of COVID-19, new variants has changed the course of the pandemic. Starting on August 2020, Lambda variant was discovered in Peru. A month later, the Alpha variant was first identified in the UK in September 2020. As for December 2021, Omicron variant had been detected in every country and continues to be dominant variant around the world.
What is coronavirus? Coronavirus are a family of viruses that can cause respiratory illness in humans. They are called corona because of the crown-like spikes on the surface of the virus. COVID-19, also known as coronavirus disease, is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. At the core, coronavirus contains RNA, a single-stranded genetic blueprint. RNA acts as a molecular message, enabling production of other elements of the virus. Bonding to the RNA are nucleoproteins. These proteins help give the virus its structure and enable it to replicate. Viral envelope encapsulates the RNA genome and protects the virus outside of the host cell and anchors structures needed to infect a cell. Envelope proteins embedded on the viral envelope aids in the assembly of new virus particles once it has infected a cell. The spikes seen outside of the virus are spike proteins. They act as a hook, allowing the virus to latch onto host cells and crack them open for infection. Most people infected with the virus will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring any special treatment. However, those with underlying medical conditions, especially older people with cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, or cancer are more likely to develop a serious illness that can be life-threatening. Don't feel too safe because anyone can get sick with COVID-19 and become seriously ill or die at any age. This specific virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid droplets when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. The symptoms of COVID-19 vary from person to person. In fact, some infected people don't develop any symptoms are also known as asymptomatic. However, people with COVID-19 have reported symptoms such as fever, cough, shortness of breath, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, tiredness, and muscle aches. This is the virus that we all feared, the COVID-19. This is the 3D model of the COVID-19 at play. Let's take a closer look at the COVID-19 virus structure. COVID-19 is the newest known member to the coronavirus family. The new coronavirus causes respiratory disease among other symptoms. At the core of the virus, the coronavirus contains RNA, a single-stranded genetic blueprint. It is similar to the DNA. And bounded to the RNA are nucleoproteins. Proteins help give the virus structure and enables it to replicate. The viral envelope basically encapsulates the virus, and it is a waxy barrier that contains fat molecules that protects the virus when it is outside of a host cell. Embedded in the viral envelope are these envelope proteins. They aid in the assembly of new virus particles once it has affected a cell. This is the infamous spike proteins. These spike proteins give the appearance of corona or the crown look, and it acts as a grappling hooks to allow the virus to latch onto host cells and crack them open for infection. Let's take a closer look on how the virus infects. One can get infected with the COVID-19 virus after inhaling airborne or viral particles. After entering the airway, the virus will meet a repository of epithelium cells in the trachea and lungs. The COVID-19 spike protein recognizes a membrane-bound protein on the surface of the cells known as ACE2. Transmembrane protease serine 2 cuts the spike protein in a specific location. These segments of the spike proteins fall away and expose previously hidden parts of the spike. The spike protein can then undergo a series of dramatic conformational changes. During the first stage, the spike protein inserts itself into the cell membrane. Once inserted, the spike protein falls back on itself, pulling the membranes at the cells and virus together so they can fuse. After fusion, the viral RNA is deposited into the host cell where it hijacks the cell's machinery to produce more virus particles.
Kerajaan memutuskan untuk melaksanakan perintah kawalan pergerakan.
Government restriction happening around the world punch the economy in its guts. Airplanes are grounded, shops are closed shut, access to roads are blocked. The countermeasure policies hurt as much, if not more, than the outbreak itself. From March 2020 to August 2021, around 200,000 people lose their job in Malaysia alone. Famine broke out in some area as people can't afford food that they raised the white flag movement.
Socially, COVID-19 brought a hell of impact upon mental health. Doctors and nurses are overworked beyond their capacity. Millions lose their job. Thousands lost their family. Thousands more are starving. The extreme pressure on mental health to society can be seen from the rising suicide case since COVID-19 outbreak started. According to Malaysia Health Ministry, at least there is 2 suicides per day, and that is in Malaysia alone, a developed country. Poorer countries are much more vulnerable. The lockdown from COVID-19 outbreak has sparked online shopping in Malaysia. Malaysians started to go online to buy their necessities. This has also boosted employment in the postal services and online entrepreneurship sector, as JNT, Shopee, Foodpanda, Lazada marked 300% profit during the outbreak. On the bright side, this outbreak had boosted Malaysians to go online, to be on par with other developed and modern countries in terms of e-commerce, in order to achieve Industrial Revolution 4.0.
To stop spread of COVID-19, the Malaysian government has implemented a number of policies. The first of the two actions done was to provide immunization at no cost to every Malaysian. One of the best methods to build herd immunity is throughout vaccination. To guarantee that COVID-19 can be controlled, the Malaysian government is immunizing on a massive scale, aiming to reach at least 200,000 individuals. To increase vaccine awareness, the government has also created additional immunization centers around the nation. The Malaysian government provides its citizens with 3 different vaccination types: Sinovac, AstraZeneca and Pfizer. The COVID-19 vaccination aids is preventing the disease by assisting our bodies in building immunity to the COVID-19 virus. The mechanism through which various vaccinations provide protection differ. The classic corona vaccination was initially accepted globally by AstraZeneca. Although it was positively received by health officials, it appears to be less successful than mRNA vaccines Moderna and Pfizer. While the first mRNA vaccination to be approved for use in the general population belongs to Pfizer, it was created through a partnership between the pioneering German biotechnology company BioNTech and the American pharmaceutical powerhouse Pfizer. The most recent is the Sinovac. It's an inactivated virus made in China that is comparable to Sinopharm vaccination. The government's MCO, or Movement Control Order, is its second measure to stop the spread of COVID-19. 3 MCO stages have been carried out by the Malaysian government. The regulations governing the movement of individuals are specific to each phase of the MCO. Additionally, residents are forbidden from leaving the state and are urged to stay at home. MCO's primary goal is to decrease human mobility since the COVID-19 virus is easily transmitted by contact.